धै नावधीतमस्तु.
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु.
And here shantihi, shantihi, the visarga is replaced by half sh, sound of half. So shantish, shantish, shantihi.
Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.
Even the second one will go as half e ki matra, half sh, sorry. Shanti Shanti Shantihi.
Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Vasudevendra Yogendram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshurnahitarthaya Tatvabodho Bidhiyate. Mumukshurnam hitarthaya tatvabodho bidhiyate. Nityam shuddham nirabhasam nirakaram niranjanam nityabodham chidanandam gurum brahma namah. शमादि साधन संपत्तिः का शमोदम उपरति तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति.
Shamodama, not dam.
शमोदम दमः.
Not damaha, dama.
शमोदम
Not dam, dama.
दमः. शमोदमः. ओके. शमोदम उपरति तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधं च इति.
Okay, just listen to me. Don't repeat after me. Listen very carefully. Shamodama uparatistitiksha shraddha samadhanam cha iti. I'll repeat once more. Just listen. Shamodama uparatistitiksha shraddha samadhanam cha iti.
शमोदम उपरति तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति.
We'll do this later again.
Okay.
Just make the note of this dhamma word.
Okay.
The ma is a full ma. So it is, there are three ways in which we sound it. One is dam, one is dhamma, one is dhamma. Okay, four ways. And then if there's a visarga, damaha.
Okay.
So dam, dhamma, dhamma, damaha. So this has a half ma and an a. So it becomes dhamma. If there was a long line like this, big a, then it was dhamma.
Okay.
And if there was a visarga, then it would have been damaha. This is dhamma.
Okay.
It's quite okay. Otherwise, in Hindi, dam is fine. But in Sanskrit, it is dhamma.
Okay.
So not we all have the pronunciation of Hindi. So in Hindi, it's okay to chant as dam. But in Sanskrit, it is dhamma. Okay? No problem. Continue.
शमः कः मनोनिग्रहः. दमः कः चक्षुरादि बाह्येन्द्रियनिग्रहः.
Correct. Very good.
उपरमः कः स्वधर्मानुष्ठानमेव.
Swadharmanushthanameva.
स्वधर्मानुष्ठानमेव. तितिक्षा का शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम्
Very good.
श्रद्धा कीदृशी गुरुवेदान्तवाक्यादिषु विश्वासः समाधानं किं चित्तैकाग्रता.
Very good. Thank you. Excellent. We'll continue from yesterday. Still on the topic of understanding Shraddha. And so far, what we have tried to understand is what is misunderstood as Shraddha or partly understood as Shraddha. And to see that, we saw the difference between faith and Shraddha. Faith being the most common translation, equatable, but if we are not careful about it, mere faith is not the eligibility for Vedanta. Mere faith is what is swabhavik in us. To have faith is natural. It doesn't need development. It doesn't need nourishing. It doesn't need to be grown. We have faith. It is just that we have faith so ingrained in us that we misplace it sometimes when there is no right thinking. So we misplace it on wrong people. We misplace it out of our carelessness to wrong things. We have even say when we rely on money to give us happiness, what is that really speaking? I go all out, all my youth is spent on earning money with an idea what? There is faith in the idea that money will give me happiness. I invest in a relationship thinking what? There is faith in that idea that this relationship will give me happiness, or I will give happiness to the other. So we see that faith is somehow very ingrained and inherent in us. It is actually because it is so ingrained and inherent, it gets misplaced and it gets exploited. Faith is something which is a helpful aid to quite an extent because of interdependency of life. You have to be dependent on something or the other. So faith helps there. But faith by itself can also become an obstacle if it is for Vedanta. If it is not nourished further and nourishing that swabhavik tendency to depend upon faith, have faith upon, is to have Shraddha. So Shraddha is a very specific kind of a faith. Shraddha, the definition here is having that quality in you to trust the words of here Vedanta. The trust is so deep-seated. It is so deep-rooted. It is so choiceless actually that though I don't understand the full meaning of those words when they are spoken of by the teacher in the class, when I am studying Vedanta, when I am trying to understand Vedanta, when I am listening to Vedanta, and here bottom line is listening to the Sampradaya with Vedanta, the one which has the teaching unfoldment methodology of how to unfold the words so that the meanings get unwrapped in the student's mind. All Vedanta, like yesterday I was saying, is dealing with me, the person who I think I am. From Vedantic standpoint, Vedanta tells me I am not that. And what Vedanta tells me I am, I have no understanding of. I have no appreciation of. I have not even inclination of. Vedanta says I am Brahman. I have no inclination of this subject. And however many times over the years, I mean, it can be a whole lifetime, I may have spent my life with Vedanta Shravanam, hearing the Vedanta, reflecting on it, trying to understand just the statement of Vedanta that you are Brahman. But my notion, मेरा दिमाग, मेरे perception, मैं को लेके जो मैं बना हुआ है कि मैं ये इंसान हूँ, मैं ऐसा वैसा ऐसी वैसी etc. That doesn't even get tainted sometimes. Dented, sorry. It doesn't get dented also. That means by the time I'm listening and constantly listen, I appreciate the words. Otherwise, I will not sustain them. If I belong to the Nastika Buddhi, I will not pursue Vedantic study any further. I'll just leave it after some time because it doesn't interest me. I'll drop off. I will have found that it doesn't make much what I want. I would feel it is not relevant to my life or something like that. The fact is that I'm not able to leave it, yet I do not fully understand what it says. That time, holding on to that trust कि कह तो सही ही रहा होगा, मेरी ही समझ में नहीं आ रहा. If you go through Bhagavad Gita, every time Arjuna asks a question to Krishna, as I said, it is a dialogue, conversation between two people. Every time he puts the question to Krishna, he always asks, what you are saying maybe is definitely correct. I can extend that much to myself. I extend myself to that thought that जो आप कह रहे हो मुझे उसमें श्रद्धा है कि ये ठीक तो है. But Krishna, I don't understand what you're saying. He'll ask some specific question or the other, and most of the chapters begin with Arjuna's question that Krishna has to answer, which he'd already answered in the previous chapter. It continues like that. So Shraddha means I am subject to giving up the pursuit before the knowledge has crystallized in me. Because when I don't understand what is being said to me, it is very likely after a few months or weeks or years, अगर मुझे persistently लगता है कि नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, I'll start to lose interest. Vedanta says, श्रद्धा जिस पे है, वो इंसान उस स्टेज को पार कर जाएगा. It will only be Shraddha which will hold him at that stage. और ये stage सबके साथ होगी. There will be no exception. Because the topic is me, myself, who's understood differently by me. Therefore, I, by the time, understand myself correctly as Shastra sees me. And what Shastra sees me as is something completely not in my understanding. Therefore, I have to first understand the words, I have to understand the ideas, and I have to bring them together, then I have to see them in the light of life, because Shastra is not telling me something which is not pertaining to life also. So, all of this is bound to take some time. It is bound to take some persistence on my part. Shastra says here, Vedanta says in the qualifying grounds, the Acharyas have said here, in the very qualification, who will be successfully, in that sense of quote unquote success means, kiska gyan pakega. Hindi word is better, English is success, but kiska gyan nisht ho jayega means who will establish themselves with knowledge, who will suddenly find that the words that they had heard, they could unwrap in their minds and they can now flavor the words and very soon recognize the words. You know, when you hear the word and something triggers an understanding in you, something resonates with you, something kind of tells you ye sahi, and it forms a perception in you which is actually somewhere you doubted that knowledge, but kahin full faith, full conviction से आप उसको own up नहीं कर रहे थे, but जैसे ही आप शास्त्र ने सुना, आपने सुना शास्त्र को, suddenly it became tangible. Suddenly that knowledge became viable. Suddenly that knowledge became your own. you flavor that knowledge. Means now your thoughts have got aligned, have got in alignment with the thoughts that you had heard about yourself and the whole topic of life and God and world, all the topics that we saw in the initial category of Tattvabodha, whatever topic it takes over, all of this has come to you. But in between, there is a stage of learning, is always a stage of confusion. Any subject. And the first time I remember, I kept my hands on a piano. I wanted to learn it. It was so tough because you had to press the pedal from your leg, and then you had to your right hand, and it was so confusing. Definitely, if I had such deep interest, I had to have a very deep interest if I was to continue learning piano. I did not, so I left it. For whatever reason, I did not have time, whatever. But the fact is, whoever is a classical pianist, what makes them different from me? How did they become classical pianists? How is it that music flows the minute they are so soft in their touch on the keys? ये music तो बाद में आनंद आता है. Just looking at the way their hands move itself becomes a source of joy because they are effortlessly playing the keys. There is no gap in their mind and the body and the understanding of the music and whatever. It all has got aligned together and there is harmony in it. But the stage was very, very different. Means it was long, it was difficult, we don't know. It needed practice is all that bottom line would be. In piano, it needed practice. But what happens with Vedanta? It is not an action. It is not कि मैं उसको practice करती रहूं एक दिन ऐसा हो जाएगा like piano. Suddenly I'll also start. I'll keep doing Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham. Every day, half an hour I do Aham Brahmasmi, and one day all that will happen is your throat would have got clearer and the words will come Aham Brahmasmi. But when it comes to recognition and someone insults you and you get hurt again and bang goes Aham Brahmasmi, because the hurt was actually to do with you, the person, the ego got hurt, and there everything talks again, and then again you start feeling, oh God, what happened to me in my knowledge? Nahi hoga, because faith pe you could only have repeated it. But your knowledge of it will happen, that sustaining factor, till you can absorb it and make it effortless as your own. Means your thoughts and the thoughts that you acquired through the knowledge have no gap. They have become your own. Means आपकी सोच ही अब वैसे चलने लगी. Your thinking has now started to see things as was said in the Shastra. So Shraddha makes you sustain it to the time or to that extent in which the knowledge, you can own it as yours. And that will mean through different stages of your life, through different situations of your life, through many such things, what we say as prarabdha when we come to topic of karma. आपका प्रारब्ध बहुत कुछ जीवन में लेके आ सकता है, ऊपर उतार चढ़ाव हो सकते हैं, बहुत कुछ हानि लाभ होगा. Throughout the changes happening in your life externally, situations changing, your mind internally is held on to the words of what you read from Vedanta, what you understand. That is what is Shraddha, how it helps to make you eligible to pursue the knowledge, because Shraddha will be that base along with Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparama, all of them together. If you don't have Shraddha, in spite of all these qualities that have gone before, just take a mental exercise as I say these words. You have all Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparama. But at some point, your Shraddha waned. Toot gayi Shraddha aapki. Means, I have mind control, I have developed sense control, I have developed endurance, I have developed my capacity to withdraw my mind at my will. These are the four summaries of the four qualities. I have now acquired it all, but I have lost my start with faith, and then I have lost my Shraddha at some point. When I have lost it, what will happen to entire pursuit of knowledge, which still has to start? And presuming you have started, presuming it has gone, you've heard Tattvamasi, you've heard Mahavakya, but at some point, something, maybe situation, maybe anything, your own interest from inside, कुछ भी कारण कुछ भी हो सकता है. Ultimately, the karan will only fall in your prarabdha, why you could not pursue it further. Shraddha, if you lose Shraddha at any point of time, labhate jnanam doesn't happen. You do not acquire that knowledge till it becomes knowledge. The process gets broken for this time. Of course, we'll continue. No effort goes wasted. Shastra tells us very, very clearly. Even if you lose it at this time, Arjuna had asked Krishna at one point in Gita, he says, Agar main sab kuch kar bhi lu, and if I die in the process, what will happen if I've still not if I've not gained knowledge? What will happen? All the answer was, don't worry. If you stop it now or you die in the process, you will continue next time from where you have left. And this is exactly how you see with any skill in life also. Once you acquire a skill, you don't lose that skill. If for some reason you cannot pursue it further, it still is there. You can tap into it and start pursuing it further. So Shraddha is that quality which helps a person sustain the pursuit of self-knowledge. Till that knowledge has no objectivity left in it. Means you don't hear the words in third person as if it is talking to someone else, as if it is pertaining to someone else. Till the words have become first person, you can see it yourself. Till then, sustaining that knowledge is called Shraddha, quality that helps you. Yesterday, a point I had made that faith is something, in the difference of faith and Shraddha, I said, faith is something which is very evidently seen, and if you leave it as that, you find its relevance in duality and all Dvaita schools. Dvaita schools means those schools of thought or those ideas or those philosophies or those perceptions that people think world and me, both of us are real. God is also real. World is also real. That means me, part of the world, and God. Wherever he's saying, for some he stays in heaven, for some he stays in Vaikunth, for some he stays in Kailash, for some he stays wherever. But he is away from world, और वो कहीं ठहरे हैं, कहीं रहते हैं, कहीं निवास करते हैं. He is in heaven up there. He looks upon us from there. And our role in his life is only to serve as his being. Our duty of life is to serve him in the form of serving people, serving life, or becoming a das. Das means servant. Having the attitude of service. Just service to God. Service to God means I just have the attitude of God and me are always going to be different. There is no reconciliation. There are two realities. God is a reality. World is a reality. And world is dependent entirely on the grace of God. And we as beings can only earn that grace, kind grace, that, compassionate grace, that compassionate look of God. We can only earn that by service to God. Some people directly to God, and then some other philosophies serve his people is serving him. etc. Now, this is what I said yesterday, is entirely faith-based. And you see this in Veda also, in the Ved also. What do you see in Veda? You see that the first part means the preceding part of Vedanta is all Karm Kand. Karm Kand includes Upasana Kand because Karm Kand has some mental karma. Upasana means mental karma, and Upasana has some physical karma. The proportions are different. Mental karma can be entirely mental also, no physical also. So to that an extent, the English translation of it is said as meditations. But Hindi word would be ध्यान लगाना. किसी ना किसी ईश्वर पे, भगवान पे, deity पे, देवता पे ध्यान लगाना. That is upasana. In some way, you see the common factor is God. If you just believe in it, because these have been going on forever, religions have existed forever. The religion says there is a God separate from me. And I can either believe it or I don't believe it. So those who believe it, there is no way of proving it. You can't prove that he stays in heaven. You can't prove that Bhagwan stays in Vaikunt. There is no physical proof of it. There is no anubhav also of it. You cannot even experience it, that you saw Bhagwan in Vaikunt, that you saw heaven. You can never experience it, even if you don't physically go through, even within yourself, just as you experience sleep. Can you experience heaven like that? That there is all those angels and what is it, apsaras and all of them dancing and wine and everything's happening, and there is Indra sitting on the asan, and all this is only a matter of belief. Faith has the ingredient of belief in it. You'll have to believe it for your faith to sustain. If you don't believe it, your faith can't sustain. So belief also brings trust in it. You trust that this must be so you can only trust. So what happens if you just take it on faith? Like I said yesterday, Christmas is there because Christ is born. Janmashtami is there because Krishna is born. Ram Navami is there, Ram is born, etc. If you just take them as their birth day and you celebrate it, like we celebrate our birthdays nowadays, and केक है, काटते हैं, पार्टी देते हैं या कुछ करते हैं, और पार्टी कुछ तो करते हैं to make our birthday appear special to us. I was born that day, you see. I came into the world that day. Definitely worth celebrating. There is no reason not to celebrate. It is a very beautiful thing. Human birth is a beautiful thing. Any birth is a beautiful thing. But the point is, if I just celebrate it away, how do we celebrate our birthdays? Eat, drink, have fun with our family and friends, and do something different. That makes it only faith-based. Magar, where Veda became different from all religions which are supporting dualism. It could be Hindu schools also. Doesn't matter. Wherever the common crux is not this or that. The common crux is whatever supports dualism. As God is real, world is real. That is dualism. Whatever idea and thought and school of thought and people and philosophy, kuch bhi naam de do, whatever supports dualism, that would land up treating everything on faith as a matter of expression of celebration and gratitude, and always in terms of becoming a servant, serving. This will be somehow आजू बाजू little different. 19-20 कहते हैं ना, ऐसे फर्क होगा सब में, but bottom line will be this, generalizing. But Vedas, I always say this is something genius. If there's something I can say is genius, is the whole thought how Vedas have seen life. They say how life is. They have posited gods. They have left, without believing, I can't do anything. I'll have to believe in it. I cannot verify them. Just as anything else, heaven, no other religion, all other religions. I can't verify what Veda is telling me. The first part, karmas. When they posit gods. But what they have done is, the geniuses, they have converted them into karma opportunity for you. So instead of just celebrating it by cutting cake and etc., all festivals, if you look in its original form, all celebration was always with some puja or the other. To such an extent, when you are all the samskars that are put in, when you are holding the fetus also, the garbha also has a sanskar at a certain point when it is said that the matter is now has multiplied enough for a living being to take a hold here. Even before the living being is born in the world, the fact that there is a conception of it is a puja. Born is a puja. The first thing you taste, get the child to taste, is a puja. The etc. etc. As it grows on, as the child's body grows up, first letter that they, on a Saraswati Puja day is the day that you make your child write the first letter. All the milestones that a normal life body would be living, all the milestones of the person was converted into puja. Some worship. Now, if the worship is only kept on the grounds of faith, you cannot just worship. It's not an action. Faith है तो आप मानोगे तो नहीं मानोगे. But the minute you convert it into action, कर्मों के साथ जोड़ दिया उसको, you made it into a alaukik karma. So the faith-based portion of Veda is actually karma-based portion of Veda. This is a very important line for everyone who's listening. The faith-based portion of Veda, Bhagwan hai, worship, do your nitya karmas. If you do this karma, you will get this. And there is a huge portion which is karma-based. The faith-based Swabhavik Vritti, genius method, ingenious incorporation is, they converted into your opportunity to earn alaukik karma. To do alaukik karma, therefore earn alaukik phalam. तो अगर हम सिर्फ जैसे अब है, Diwali was supposed to be celebrated for, say, one of the reasons being Rama came back अपने वनवास से. There's a whole lot of significance in everything that is said in Puranas. They're not just mere stories. When he comes back from Vanvas, the villagers are expressing their happiness by lighting lamps. Vanvas meant a time of contemplation, a time of withdrawal, uparama, in which the higher was pursued. And when he comes, for us today, Diwali was meant to be re-invoking the light representing knowledge which is represented by Rama, the avatar, the Purna Gyan, established knowledge, self-knowledge. The expression of established self-knowledge. When he comes after reflection, after he's established, the idea is the light is lit in each home. Every home lights the light lamp of knowledge. And Diwali meant, with all that prayers that we do and puja, today it's become Lakshmi Puja. Only Lakshmi Puja, Ganesh and Lakshmi Puja. Ganesha to remove the vignas for Lakshmi ji to come. One of the things, okay, no problem. But at least it is still as a puja. But if you just celebrated the day because Rama came back, do you see the difference? Yeah? If Rama came back and you just celebrated that, could we have sustained it ever? मुझे क्या फर्क पड़ता है राम कब आए थे? ठीक है, if I have faith, I will celebrate. But if I don't have faith, but it would have ended there. But by converting it into making a puja for myself, it's not that I'm doing worship of Rama. When I do that puja, I have taken on the role of having become the worshipper. When I take on a job in a company, say I am a director in a company, or I am a manager in a company, or I am a secretary in a company, or I am a peon in a company, I've taken on a role. So with reference to the celebration, it was an excuse, the celebration, it was a celebration to make it as an excuse to become the worshipper. I am the one, the karta there becomes the worshipper. So what happens is that gradually, without your cognition, without your awareness, you've earned yourself some different nature of karma, which was born from faith, but it did not end at faith. Because the end point of faith is, sometime or the other faith will break. But the idea of faith is, it may not break, of course, for a very, very long time. I'm not so sure of that statement, breaks or not breaks, but likely, mostly, it should break. But if I have started something with faith, and it's got introduced to karma, now karma will have its results. So what are the alaukika karma phalam? All this puja, whatever. Here it means whatever adrishtam I had generated through that karma, that adrishtam will be in some form resulting itself in a rare kind of a anugraha. Later on we'll talk about it, not this context. So in dualism, I'm wrapping this up a little bit because we will move ahead. There's still next part of it will help you further understand Shraddha. In dualism, schools of duality, like bhakti schools. Bhakti is another word sometimes translated from Shraddha. In bhakti schools, you will find that faith is the essential ingredient to the extent that if you question, then your bhakti gets questioned. You get questioned as a person. Vedanta says this kind of an approach to your self-study will limit your understanding. You may not grow, you will not realize it. You will think मैं तो पढ़ रही हूँ कभी ना कभी समझ में. Faith के base पे करोगे. अच्छा, let me once again. इनकी क्लास हो गई, नहीं समझ, दूसरे की क्लास अटेंड कर लो, वो नहीं समझाया, चलो और किसी और का कर लो, नहीं समझाया, एक और बार, है ना. Go on, changing. You will learn something. Of course, the rolling stone gathers no moss, but there is something you will learn from everyone, no doubt about it. But Shraddha would have meant looking at it again and again, no doubt about it. I have to keep looking at it again and again till I have owned it up. In duality, all dual schools of thought, dualistic schools of thought, any one of them, and I'm saying all religions fall in that. In that, Vedanta is specific to say, and that's where my personal statement, I'm sure many acharyas, the lineage tells us to say this, that Vedanta has to be taken, that's why it is a separate kand, Jnana Kanda. What you hold in Karma Kand, many of these things you discard or you they change when they come to Jnana Kand. So faith may be useful in Karma Kand, but it may not be sufficient in Jnana Kand. But Shraddha will be that which will help throughout. And now to continue further. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just share another screen. This is in the 17th chapter of Gita. The whole of 17th chapter of Gita is entitled as Shraddha Traya Vibhaga. Threefold Shraddha. Three kinds of Shraddha. You can't see the screen, right? You can't see the Gita verse? No. Hopefully. Can see now? Now, 17th chapter, there are 18 chapters. 17th chapter of the Gita is talking about the heading is three kinds of Shraddha. And the 16th chapter had ended at a particular point where Krishna had said those who worship following the scriptural injunctions, etc., they get the knowledge, they get the highest. Arjuna asks, but what about those who don't have the scriptural injunctions? उनका क्या होगा जिनको नहीं पता कि पूजा की विधि क्या है, कैसे करनी है, but they have Shraddha in their heart. Like all of us, I think. We may have Shraddha, we may have faith, but we may not know how is to be done. That's why Pandits are there, who are supposed to know. Now, they may have knowledge of it, but they may not have adequate Shraddha. I may have Shraddha, but I don't know how to do it. So Arjuna is asking, what happens to those people? In the first verse, he says, what happens if you have Shraddha, but you do not have the scriptural knowledge? And Krishna answers here. Now, one of the things before I proceed, want to make sure is, I have in my class tried to make us see faith as a subset of Shraddha. But Shastra doesn't see them as two different things. Shraddha is the quality in the sense in which we have understood. But because today our samskars have become such, because of English being the predominant language in our heads, faith has a very specific meaning to us, which is different from Shraddha that Shastra says. I hope this point is clear. So Shraddha is actually said as Shraddha without using the word faith. तो अर्जुन कह रहा है कि अगर किसी की श्रद्धा है, means I have the capacity to understand, I have the capacity to persevere, I have the capacity to follow scriptural guidance. I want to live my life according to what Shastra tells me. I will put in the effort to conduct my life on the grounds of dharmas that they have said I must live as best as I can live. I will try my best at least. So Shraddha hai. But mere paas, I haven't done all those textual studies which would say ki get up at this, put your God in this direction, do this. These are the steps, half a day goes off in doing one worship a day. So I don't know, but what do I do if my actions have Shraddha? Here Krishna brings up a very beautiful point. Second verse of 17th chapter, he says, Trividha bhavati Shraddha. Three types, there are three kinds, threefold. Shraddha is there. Dehinam sa swabhavaja, which is there in the embodied beings, swabhavically, swabhavaja, born from their own स्वभाव. उनका स्वभाव जैसा है, उस basis पे three kinds of Shraddha can be noted. There are three types of Shraddha. उनके स्वभाव के अनुरूप, according to their nature. Swabhavaja, born from their swabhav. Ja, that word is born. Swabhav se born. So based on your स्वभाव उत्पन्न होता है, आपके स्वभाव से born हुआ है. Three kinds of faith are there that can be there as seated in your स्वभाव. Satviki, Rajasi, Eva, Tamasi. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic. Cha iti tam shruni. Listen about them. Krishna is telling Arjuna. What is this? In this third verse, he says, Tattva anurupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata. Bharata here is Arjuna. O Arjuna, Tattva anurup. Sarvasya, all men, everyone, whose Shraddha, in other words, for all people, Shraddha is Anurup, is according to their inner Swabhav, according to their nature. In the case of all men, faith conforms Arjuna to their inner sense. Sattva Anurup. Inner sense is not exactly the correct meaning. Sattva Anurup, Shankara says, Vishishta Sanskara Upeta Antakarana Anurupa. Vishishta Sanskara Upeta. The specific kind of a sanskar which is there in your Antakarna, in your mind. According to that specific sanskar in your mind, Sarvasya Prani Jatasya, for all beings, Shraddha is according to your specific impressions in your mind. Then the second line is the highlight of what I wanted to say. Shraddha Maya Ayam Purushaha. According to how much or what kind of Shraddha one holds in oneself, as per your Shraddha, Yaha Yat Shraddha Saha Evasa. As per your Shraddha you are. The Purusha is as in accordance to one's Shraddha. The person is as his Shraddha is. The life will be conducted by the person based on the Shraddha he has. As your mind is, as you think, so you become, is a statement made very famous. Actually, as your Shraddha is, so you become. What is the life direction you will take? That is why all Acharya says, why children were given early education of all this through all the Purana stories and everything. Why the seeds were sown in childhood is because whatever impression they have earned at that age is the impression that will make them later on. So what values have gone in at that stage, what the mind has absorbed, is what the person will become. श्रद्धामय, जैसी आपकी श्रद्धा है, जिस पुरुष की जैसी श्रद्धा है, एव सह, वो वैसा ही है. As your श्रद्धा is, सह एव तत् श्रद्धा अनुरूप एव सह जीवः. So is that person. The nature of his faith shapes him according to itself. Change the word faith here to Shraddha. The nature of his Shraddha shapes him according to himself, according to itself. As your Shraddha, so are you. And what is Shraddha? Vishishta Sanskara Upeta. The specific kind of a sanskar that you have acquired. He says here in the next verse or the previous verse, somewhere he has said that you actually acquired Janma Janmantar. It's not something just in a childhood, but somewhere that you have, here, previous verse he says, Shraddha yasyam nisthayam tvam pritchasi dehinam sharirinam sa swabhavaja janmantar krita dharmadi sanskaraha. Janmantar means janam after janman. Dharam adi sanskar. Whatever you have lived with, collected, sanskar is your impressional collection. That is your antakarnam today. जन्म जन्मा जो धर्म पे जी के आपने इंप्रेशंस को बनाए हैं, मरण काले अभिव्यक्त, till your end they express. That is called swabhavaha. Shankara has defined it. Whatever are your impressions from birth till death, which you have acquired because of your previous lifetimes acquisition of dharma, following dharma, they are called impressions. He says, Krishna says, these are threefold: sattva, rajas, and tamas. And now he defines in one line all three, in one verse all three. Those whose shraddha is sattvic. If your shraddha has sattvic nature, would mean your antakarnam is sattvic. Sattvic impression will make you worship, will make you pursue things that have the right direction. Sattvic deities is the word here he uses, implying it will go in the right direction. Who are they? Yajante Sattvika Devan. Those who are sattvic, they worship the gods. Those who are rajasic, they worship yakshas, etc. Those who are tamasic, they worship bhut ganaha, pretas, ghosts, etc. Your shraddha, those of sattvic faith, offer sacrifice, means worship, means pursue the gods. Those of rajasic faith to supernatural beings, and monsters is the translation. Others, men of tamasic faith, offer sacrifice to ancestral spirits, not pitras, but host of ghosts, etc. Like all the sattvic would be all the gods. Just 1 second, please. Those that worship gods, and by worship of gods, what is it that they get? They get antakarna, call it shuddhi or growth. Worshipping the gods with the right attitude. Here it is because of its context is worship. As I said before, if any one of you is missing the point, for Shastra Drishti, faith and Shraddha are not different. So even in Karamkand, when I have differentiated as faith to explain the meaning, they are using it as Shraddha there also. Clear? So Shraddha, when you are having Shraddha, believing in it, it means believing. You believe in it, but the object of your belief is defining whether your Shraddha is sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. When you worship the gods, Krishna, Rama, Devis, all these, they contribute to your spiritual well-being finally. When you worship yakshas, gandharvas, kinnaras, kubera, they give you material prosperity. So you only gain material gains that last you the lifetime. And after that, when you worship gods with Shraddha, you gain mental growth. You gain growth, spiritual growth. When you worship Rajasic worship, you have a Rajasic worship. You are worshipping, the object of your worship is gods who give you material comforts. And Tamasic Shraddha is Shraddha which is mostly associated with I worship because I want to harm someone. किसी और का बुरा करना है ना मेरे को तो हे भगवान उसका कुछ हो जाए. So kind of what they would call in English as black magic kind of worships. They are also tantrics. Some of the tantric pujas are fairly detrimental. Sometimes it can injure someone else. You may not even know it. That kind. But people are involved with these things. And many people today, even when you come to Vedanta class, very rare is it that you would have a student who has Shraddha. Most of the people, even when they have Shraddha, their Shraddha falls into Rajasic or the Tamasic category. People seek blessings from, you just have to say that Guru is there and they will run there just to get blessings. Blessings. वो आशीर्वाद दे दे बस काम हो जाएगा. That kind of thing. That not wrong, please. It's not wrong at all. Otherwise, Shastra would have completely told us. Galat hai. The idea is, don't forget my point that I'm trying to make. The idea is, Vedanta is knowledge-based. Unless until I have Shraddha, which is in the form of pursuing the Jnanam, all these Shraddhas, which are karma-based, will not qualify me for that knowledge. You understand? So I may say I am a very worshipful person, but who is the object of my worship? Gods. For what? For my wealth and security and my health and my family, which is not wrong, correct? But to the extent your absorption of Vedantic knowledge is concerned, it will get delayed or it will get slowed down. Because your mind is still in the frame of impressions of worshipping to get something. So Shraddha, I'm summarizing now completely. Don't worry if it's Sattvic, Rajasic or Tamasic. I'm only saying the importance because in Gita, the whole qualification is given. Worship should also be Sattvic. So कर्म कांड में भी जो होता है, let me worship the gods for the sake of qualifying myself for knowledge, or make my environment conducive that I can have shanti, or it should all get associated to how can I gain nishtha and gyan, and not just for the sake of some small gains here and there, etc. So kind of finishes the topic of Shraddha. And fundamentally, I am taking a lot of pains because I personally feel a value, very high value for this quality, which is very different from just saying devotion or bhakti. There is this aspect of bhakti that can also be understood along with this. But before that, I think we'll end it here. And there's this Viveka Chudamani verse which extends it a little more into the meaning. We will take that verse next time. And till then, you can consolidate this beautiful quality, because it's a very, I mean, if I'll pick up two things as most essential that makes the journey of Vedantic knowledge extremely enjoyable and fruitful, to grasp the knowledge, is one's Vairagyam, which of course means Viveka, and Shraddha. Rest are all something you will add on. Kabhi ho gaya nahi, koi baat nahi, some affliction. But if you don't have these two, somewhere you will realize that it's not the same grasp. So the grasp will, not that there will be any loss, that won't happen. ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ नहीं होगा, कुछ तो होगा. But if you want to optimize it, then you have to be careful of harnessing these, because most of the times, even Shraddha, in fact, that's why the Shankara's definition I took on is actually why a lot of us have started early in life with Vedanta, very early in life in Vedanta, is because sanskar based. And it was Shraddha that allowed you to pursue the knowledge when you could have gone into any other things in life. But very early, so Shraddha has a very deep, lasting effect, Janma Janmantar effect, and something that will straight away start your journey, even if it's left incomplete in any lifetime. It next starts your journey very fast because the sanskars inside, your impressions based, the Shraddha is there. आपको पता है ये सही होगा, लेकिन समझ में नहीं है क्यों है, so you'll have to pursue it all over again. So you will go in your life again, look for knowledge, look for teacher, look for all that, start all over again studying. Like we say, स्कूल जाते हैं बच्चे, ABCD फिर सीखते हैं, बाबा ब्लैकशप फिर सीखते हैं, उठक बैठक फिर सीखते हैं, 1 2 3 4 फिर सीखते हैं. And in the same way, you will again start prasthanatrayi. You will again, however many times, doesn't matter. But it is that Shraddha which lasts life after life. Your hold on the Jignasa. What is it that is the truth? Till I know the truth, it's incomplete. So it's a very lasting thing. So we will end it. Divya, you want to chant the Shanti mantra today?
Deepti ji, I'll do it after you. I'm not very confident about
No,
it.
definitely after me. But I think I by mistake changed the. I cancelled the page. I just reloaded. Yeah, this is new, so better to. Can you see?
Yes.
Om Sarvesham Swastirbhavatu.
Om Sarveshan Swastirbhavatu.
Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu.
Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu.
Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu.
Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu.
Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu.
Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu.
Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah.
Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah.
Sarve Santu Niramaya.
Sarve Santu Niramaya.
Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu.
Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu.
Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave.
Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet.
Bhag
Bhag
Bhavet.
Bhavet.
This meaning, of course, everybody knows. Sarvesham, all, may everybody. Swasti. Swasti is a very beautiful word, Vaidika word it is. It only means, no, not only. It is inclusive of, say, 2 English words. Combine the words auspiciousness and blessing. Welfare. There will be many words actually. Swasti is an overall blessing for the person, for what is auspicious overall. Swasti bhavatu. Sarvesham shantihi bhavatu. May everyone, all, sarvesham, serve. It's irrespective of caste, color, creed, gender. All, may everyone have shanti, peace, inside and outside. Sarvesham purnam bhavatu. May all feel a sense of fulfillment. शांति भी हो और अंदर से तृप्ति हो, एक पूर्णता फील हो. Not that I'm incomplete, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm lacking in this, I'm lacking in that. No, all these thoughts that diminish us as people. So this is a Shanti Patha, wishing that everyone has a sense of Purnata in themselves. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Again, Mangalam is something, सबका मंगल हो जब हम कहते हैं, auspicious for the person, blessing for the person, which is good welfare of the person, all these terms, mangal ho uska. Sarve bhavantu sukhina. May all beings be sukhi, happy. Sarve santu niramayaha. May all beings be free of any disease, affliction. We should be chanting aloud. May all be free of the virus. Santu niramayaha. Sarve bhadrani. And then if you mean it, if the whole society chants it not mechanically, but with Shraddha, the meaning definitely has it's a karma. It has an effect. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Bhadrani means more and adequate, more than adequate. What you need and have more than that. Prosperity word. Bhadrani means overflowing. When you worship Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi, uska kalash se, you always see the coins are overflowing. They're coming out. That overflowing of it means what you need, you should always have more than that, because the idea in the Vedic society was that every person should have more than what they need, and their needs they should keep on the lesser side, but because of which also they'll always have more, and that more should be distributed. Let others
Abundance.
have it. Abundance, correct, absolutely, abundance. Bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschit dukha bhapa. May nobody have no pain, no dukha. Let nobody be unhappy. No, let nobody sleep unhappy. And then Om Swastik प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम्. Divya?
Sorry, I was on mute. Om Swasti Prabhabhya Paripalyantam.
Prajabhyah
Prajabhya
Paripalayantam.
Paripalyantam.
Paripalayantam.
Paripalayantam.
Nyayena margena.
Nyayena margena.
Mahim mahishaha.
Mahimahishaha.
Go brahmanebhyah.
Go brahmanebhyah.
Shubhamastu nityam.
Shubhamastu nityam.
Lokas samastaha.
Loka samasta.
Samastaha.
Samastaha.
Sukhino bhavantu.
Sukhino bhavantu.
Kale varshatu parjanyah.
Kale varshatu parjanyah.
Prithvi sasya shalini.
Prithvi sasya shalini.
Deshoyam kshobarahitah.
Deshoyam shobharahitah.
Brahmanas santu nirbhayaah.
Brahmana santu nirbhaya.
Meaning, of course, as we saw yesterday, may there be happiness for all people. May the rulers rule the earth by righteous means. Always may there be welfare for animals like cow and welfare for the learned, men of wisdom. May all beings be happy, generalizing the happiness. Then environmental, may the clouds rain at proper time. May the earth be full of healthy grains. May this country be free from famine. May the men of wisdom be fearless. Means speak the truth without fear. May there be in society such, may the second Shanti Patha is actually external, society, the welfare of society, the structure of society is in such a way that the cyclical seasons producing prosperity and whatever every living being needs for their survival, let the cycle be not disrupted. And it ends by saying the greatest Shanti is possible in society when people who know the truth should have the courage to lead the society in the direction of the truth. What society generally lacks is people who know the truth don't have the courage because the society doesn't allow them the freedom to speak fearlessly. So may they speak fearlessly. May they stand for the truth fearlessly. So with this, we end again today and see you all next week. Will it be a Happy New Year? Yes, it will be a Happy New Year. I think it will be a Happy New Year. So wishing everyone.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Same to you. I had a small question.
Yes.
The broadcast of